So I think that this question was a discuss question or an assess question, the likely impact of price discrimination on profits, include an appropriate diagram. So we've got a definition to start with. Price discrimination occurs when a firm charges different prices for the same good in different markets, e.g. choosing adults higher prices than children in cinema tickets. So we've got a bit of knowledge, a bit of application. We've then got the diagrams here. So average revenue, marginal revenue. Just remember that the bottom one was marginal cost and the top one was average cost, just to kind of keep it simple. In terms of if that's the case, then just to be accurate, that would be the profit there. So between average revenue and average cost, and that would be the profit there between average revenue and average cost. On this diagram here, the profit there, again, average revenue and average cost. And what you would have is that if we just give it a label A, B and C, we could say A plus B is greater than C. Price discrimination occurs where one group of customers have more inelastic demand, so that's one of the key features. For a good, this allows for the markets to be split and allows for higher prices to be charged. For example, demand for a good, for example, adults will be willing to make higher price after 5 PM than children, as if they are working. This is the only leisure time that they have. Yes, in terms of application, in terms of a reason why, the economic reason behind that, a good one to use would be time. So you could say that it's more of a short-term decision for adults as they have kind of less time, and it might be that children can go at many different times, so they pay a lower price. Though this price rises, it allows for average revenue to increase. Yes. Showing abnormal profits. Yes. Again, a little bit of extra on that point. The reason why the revenue would increase, you could say, is because the adults are unresponsive to the change in price, or give it a numerical one, a 10% rise in price would equal only a 5% fall in demand, and then you're kind of proving that average revenue would increase. You could also potentially, depending on time here, talk about the elastic demand, so an opposite one. They are more responsive, so the fall in price would lead to an increase, 10% fall in price, 20% increase in demand. Again, increasing revenue. This will lead to abnormal profits. Just take out the word normal there. Or an increase that will lead to greater abnormal profits than without. So the situation without. However, this depends upon the easiness of obtaining children's habits. If consistent ID checks are done, e.g. by cinema workers, due to low cost checking, they'll be able to prevent this and maximise profits. Yes, again, just in terms of specific economic key terms, you would say that prevents arbitrage, or it prevents kind of market seepage, which is that kind of moving between markets. And if you had a little bit of more time, again depending on the exam, there's another evaluation you could do, and that's it depends upon competitors. What you need is almost a maxi-max strategy, so some kind of maybe tacit collusion rather than overt collusion, where if you put your price up in the inelastic market, the others follow, because if they go dominant, then actually you think you've got inelastic demand, but you've got elastic demand. And depending on whether that's a 10 or a 15 mark question, you might be able to analyse those two different sides.